When you're traveling, it's a good idea to have some snacks on hand, but if you are going by airplane, then that can make things a little more complicated. So today we're going to be talking about snack ideas for when you're traveling by plane. So if you follow me on Instagram, then you might have seen on my Instagram stories here recently that I was just out in Colorado. I flew out there for some work stuff, and for my trip, I made sure to pack some snacks. And that got me thinking that this would be a great time for us to talk about what kinds of snacks to pack when you're traveling by plane. And I've got a few different ideas for you, but before we get into that, I want to talk just a little bit with you about bringing snacks on the plane. So first off, I think there is a big misconception out there that you can't bring any food through security. And I think this is because of all the restrictions around everything else, especially with liquids. You know, you have to have them under a certain size, they have to fit in your little plastic bag and all that sort of thing. So a lot of times people think that food isn't allowed either, but that's absolutely not true. You can bring food on the plane, you just have to work within the same guidelines as anything else. So if something is liquid, then it needs to fit within those size requirements, but anything else is pretty much fair game. Something important to know is that anything that is spreadable counts as a liquid. So if you want to bring something like peanut butter, you're going to have to keep it under the same size restrictions as you have for your foundation or your toothpaste or anything else. And trust me, I know from experience because I have tried to take a jar of peanut butter through security and they confiscated it. Now, one caveat to that is if you're traveling internationally, then there can be some more things you need to look into as far as bringing different produce items from one country to another. But if you're flying within the US, going by the US flight guidelines, you can bring any food and any liquid as long as it's under the amounts that they say. I also just want to put it out there that I'm not making this video to say that you have to pack snacks with you or that you should never eat food at the airport that you could buy there or anything like that. If there's stuff at the airport that you like or that you want to buy or whatever, go for it. I'm totally fine with that. I buy stuff at the airport too. And you know, luckily there are a lot of great options in a lot of airports now. But I still think there are some reasons why you might want to pack some snacks with you. Maybe the airports that you're going to be traveling through don't have food options that you really enjoy. Maybe you are on a really tight schedule and so you're not going to have time to stop and get food and also get on your plane on time. Maybe you don't want to spend the money on airport food. A lot of times things in the airport can be more expensive than what you might pay for it outside of the airport. So that might be something that you consider or want to keep in mind. Also, maybe you just want to have something just in case. I think for everyone, no matter what, it's a good idea to pack stuff just because you don't know what could happen. Maybe your flight gets delayed several hours. Maybe you're stuck on the tarmac for some reason for an hour before you even take off. And there can be so many other things that could come in and switch up your plans, switch up your schedule that you weren't accounting for. So to have those extra snacks on hand can be really nice so you don't get stuck in a situation where you're really, really hungry and maybe you're in a stressful situation too at the same time. Having that food on hand helps to prevent that and just make those stressful times at least a little bit easier. So now that we've got all of that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the actual food. So the first thing that I think can be really nice to pack with you is some sort of bars. And there are so many options when it comes to bars now. Here I have a couple Epic bars. This is a beef one and this is a chicken one. So these are nice if you want something that's a little more protein heavy. Also, you know, there are Kind bars and Lara bars and there's all kinds of different bars out there. So whichever bars that you like. I'm not a big bar person normally in life. That's just my personal preference. Maybe you are. But when it comes to travel, I think having something like this can be really great because it's not going to go bad and it's easy and it's portable and it's going to be at least somewhat filling. Something else I really like to pack is dried fruit. And you can pack any kind of dried fruit you like. For my trip here recently, I packed some dried mango. This is unsweetened dried mango. And I like this because, you know, it comes in these kind of big pieces, which is nice. You don't have to worry about like something like raisins that's very small and you have to worry about dropping it and stuff like that. This is a little bit easier to deal with on the plane. And it's, you know, it's got a little sweetness, some tartness, it's chewy, you're getting some sugar, some carbs, which is nice. And, you know, there's so many different things that you could choose. You could do dried apricots or prunes or dates or really anything else that you like, or do a combination. Next up is nuts, and I have some almonds here. I packed some almonds on my most recent flight. Any sort of nuts that you like, works well. You know, peanuts, walnuts, pecans, pistachios, whatever, it doesn't matter. And again, you could do a mixture if you want to do that. But these are nice because they give you something crunchy. Again, they're not going to spoil or go bad. You don't have to worry about them getting mushed up because they're nice and hard and sturdy. And also they will give you some fat and some protein to help you feel more full and satisfied. Another thing you can do that's kind of a riff on the last two items is to make some sort of trail mix. You could also buy one, but if you already have like some nuts and some dried fruits and maybe some chocolate chips or something in your cabinet, which I think a lot of us do, I know I do, then it's really easy to just kind of mix those up into one container together instead of having them all broken out separately, and then you'll have a little bit of everything when you're ready to eat something. It can also be nice to pack some produce items depending on where you're flying through. Produce items might be hard to come by in your airport, or again, they could be very expensive. I think if you're gonna do fresh produce, think of things again that are gonna be sturdy. So things like carrots or celery. You could do something like a cherry tomato or grapes, but you're gonna have to make sure those are in a nice hard-sided container so they don't get all smushed up on your flight. You can also do things like oranges or bananas. Those are nice because they kind of come in their own container. Again, you just want to make sure they're somewhere where they're not going to get smashed and end up all over your luggage or all in your backpack or your purse. And if you want to bring something that's like a liquid or some sort of spread like peanut butter or like hummus if you're packing some vegetables, then just make sure that you're keeping it in those small containers, you know, keep it within those guidelines, and that it can fit in that little plastic bag with the rest of your liquids. It's fine to bring them, you just have to make sure you treat them like any other liquid that you would pack. And let me know in the comments, are there any other snacks that you really like to pack when you're flying? These are some of my personal favorites, but I would love to hear some of yours. And if you happen to be new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and videos like this one, then make sure that you subscribe, because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle, it really doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. And if you want to watch some more videos, I have a couple linked over here that you might like. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.